Creepy curses that haunted families. Some families rise to power. Others seem bound to misfortune from the very beginning. No matter how much they gain, the shadow of tragedy follows. Generation after generation, they suffer deaths, betrayals, or sudden disasters. Is it all just coincidence, or are these families marked by something darker? Tonight, we explore the terrifying tales of curses that haunted families. The Kennedy family curse. They were America's royalty. The Kennedys had charm, wealth, and influence. But behind the bright smiles and photographs, a pattern of tragedy unfolded. In 1944, Joseph Kennedy Jr., the family's golden boy, destined for the presidency, died in a fiery explosion during a secret World War II mission. His sister Kathleen followed only a few years later, lost in a plane crash in France. The curse grew stronger in the public eye. In 1963, John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, was shot dead in Dallas. Millions watched the horror unfold live on television. Only 5 years later, his brother Robert, another rising star, was assassinated in Los Angeles. The family tried to move forward, but sorrow clung to them. Ted Kennedy drove off a bridge in 1969, leaving a young woman dead. Though he survived, his reputation never recovered. In 1999, the curse returned once more. John F. Kennedy Jr., handsome and full of promise, crashed his small plane into the Atlantic Ocean. He was only 38. How many accidents, how many sudden deaths, can a single family endure before the word curse begins to feel too real? Some say the Kennedys are paying for the ruthless ambition of their patriarch, Joseph Kennedy, who was rumored to have made deals with mobsters and politicians alike. Others whisper of something more supernatural, an unseen hand ensuring that no Kennedy legacy will ever last. The House of Atreus. Long before America's tragedies, the Greeks told of a bloodline stained with horror. The House of Atreus was one of the most cursed families in myth, and its story was told as both entertainment and warning. It began with Tantalus, who committed an unspeakable crime. He killed his own son, cooked him, and served him to the gods as a feast. The gods recoiled in disgust and condemned his descendants to endless misery. Atreus, Tantalus's grandson, betrayed his brother Thyestes by killing Thyestes' children and feeding them to him in revenge. From that act of horror came a spiral of bloodshed. Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, returned victorious from Troy only to be murdered in his bath by his wife, Clytemnestra. Their son Orestes, consumed by vengeance, killed his own mother to avenge his father. The gods punished him with madness, and the Furies, spirits of vengeance, pursued him endlessly. For the Greeks, this tale was more than just a story. It was proof that once a curse takes root, no generation escapes. Each child inherits the sins of the parents. Each crime demands another. The House of Atreus was a warning that sometimes blood cannot wash away blood. Tutankhamun's Tomb Curse. The year was 1922. After years of searching, Howard Carter and his team finally uncovered a tomb untouched for thousands of years, the resting place of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. When they broke the seal, they found treasures beyond imagination, golden chariots, jeweled statues, and the boy king's sarcophagus, still intact. But from that moment on, death began to follow those who entered. Lord Carnarvon, the wealthy patron who financed the dig, was the first. Only months later, he died of a sudden infection from a small mosquito bite. At the exact moment of his death, the lights went out across Cairo. Even his dog, far away in England, howled and dropped dead at that same hour. Others followed. George J. Gould, who visited the tomb, fell ill with pneumonia and died within days. Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, who x-rayed the mummy, collapsed from a strange illness. Several more associated with the dig died in bizarre or violent ways. The newspapers screamed of the Pharaoh's curse. Locals pointed to an inscription said to be carved on the walls, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king." Skeptics claimed it was coincidence or microbes sealed in the tomb for centuries. But for the families who buried their loved ones, the curse felt terrifyingly real. Did the ancient kings reach out from beyond the grave to punish those who disturbed their rest? Or did the curse exist only in the minds of those who believed? The Bascombe Curse. Far from Egypt, in a quiet English village, another curse was said to linger for centuries. The Bascombe family carried a tale whispered in fearful tones: no son of their blood would live past 40. It began in the 1600s. Elias Bascombe, a wealthy farmer, accused a woman of witchcraft and delivered her to the authorities. As she was dragged to the gallows, she cursed him with her final breath: "May your line be cut short. May your sons never grow old." What followed seemed to prove her words. Elias's own son drowned mysteriously at 28. His grandson was crushed under a horse cart at 36. Generation after generation, the curse played out. Sons fell in farming accidents, wars, and fevers. None survived beyond 40. By the 1800s, the Bascombes were desperate. One son left for London, changing his name and denying his bloodline. He died at 39, crushed in a factory collapse. Another fought in the First World War, only to be shot weeks before his 40th birthday. The curse followed, patient and relentless. Some descendants fled overseas, hoping distance might break it. But the pattern clung to them. Even today, the Bascombes are said to watch their sons grow with dread, counting the years like grains of sand slipping away. The Borgia Curse. In Renaissance Italy, few names inspired such fear as the Borgias. They were rich, powerful, and utterly ruthless. But their power came with a price. Pope Alexander VI, the Patriarch, ruled with ambition. Yet his sudden death shocked Rome. Some said he had poisoned himself by mistake, drinking from a cup meant for another. His son Cesare Borgia, once one of the most feared commanders in Italy, was betrayed by his own allies. Stripped of his army and abandoned, he died in the mud, stabbed and forgotten. Lucrezia Borgia, the most infamous of the clan, was rumored to keep poison hidden in a ring, ready to strike at her enemies. Yet in the end, she wasted away in sorrow, sickened and broken. The Borgias became a legend of corruption and downfall. Some claimed the families they had wronged cursed them with their dying breaths. Others believed the Borgias carried their own curse, that power gained through blood would always end in blood. Once kings of Rome's shadowed halls, the Borgias ended in ruin, their name forever synonymous with treachery. Families rise and families fall. But when tragedy repeats again and again, it begins to feel like something more. Are these stories just unlucky coincidences? Or are there forces that follow bloodlines across centuries, striking down anyone who dares carry the name? One of these stories is not true. But which one?